Hey guys, it's Generalkidd here. How's everyone doing today? So, by now, you've probably heard the big bad news about Halo Infinite. No, it's not being delayed again, but you may feel it should be after all this news. So, in case you missed the news, at launch later this year, and no, they have not revealed the release date yet, Halo Infinite will not have any co-op campaign or Forge whatsoever at launch. And that's just the stuff they announced recently on top of all the other stuff previously announced, like no assassinations. So, what does that mean for Halo Infinite? Well, it's been absolutely ruined. It's all over now. It's totally unplayable. The sun will not rise tomorrow. Nah, not really. It's definitely not that dramatic. But in all seriousness, this honestly is an important issue that I want to talk about. So let's get right into it. So here's the main concern a lot of people have for Halo Infinite right now. What a lot of people are saying is that Halo Infinite has been in development for 6 years now, pretty much. And after 6 years, this game is going to launch with half of its core features missing, pretty much. So just let that sink in. 6 years of development, with one of those years being a delay year to have extra time for extra polish and bug fixes. And the game is still going to be launching incomplete. Now, it's not all doom and gloom, though, since it was confirmed by Joe Staten and Sketch that those features would be coming to Infinite later on as free updates in later seasons. This is known as a live service game, and has been a very common trend among other recent live service games like Anthem, Fallout 76, Fortnite, and now we have Halo Infinite following in their footsteps. That's just the way the industry is going nowadays, with a lot of big games, for better or for worse. Now, the current plan for Halo Infinite, which is subject to change, is that co-op will be coming to Halo Infinite about 3 months after launch, while Forge will be coming about 6 months later. So at the very least, those features are coming eventually, but obviously it would have been preferable if they were there at launch, and you can see how people would be understandably upset and concerned about the game. Now, before I discuss my personal thoughts and opinions on this, I was curious to see how the overall Halo community felt about this, and I must say, it's very polarizing and very inflammatory right now. There's certainly a decent chunk of people that believe the game should be delayed longer, so that a full complete game can be shipped at launch. On the other end of the spectrum, there's a lot of people who say they personally don't play co-op or Forge, and therefore they just simply don't care about those features, so the game shouldn't be delayed for them. It's almost 50-50 between the two groups, really, and it's been very heated, especially on places like Twitter. So what are the full ramifications to all this anyways, aside from just not being able to play those features? Well, there's actually quite a bit. You see, without Forge, that for starters means custom games and even matchmaking is going to be quite limited, in that there will be no custom maps, which in turn means that custom games will be kind of regressing to a Halo 2 era level of custom games. Now, it wasn't terrible back then, but ever since Halo 3, custom games has really taken a step up and has been a really amazing fun staple of the Halo series. So, there were so many awesome custom games and maps, all those Halo 3 infection lobbies, racetracks on Reach, and so on. So without Forge, custom maps aren't going to be possible for at least the first half of the year after the game comes out. And as for matchmaking, well, without custom maps, that also likely means quite a few game types probably aren't going to be in the game at launch. What I mean by that is game types such as Griffball and Infection, those typically require custom Forge maps. So unless proper map variants are going to be included in the game at launch, they're probably not going to be available in the matchmaking rotation at all. There's probably no dedicated base map just for Griffball. And playing Infection on a base vanilla map tends to not be as fun usually. Now, I noticed a lot of rumors floating around about the status of these modes, so I'm not going to be covering those in this video, just because, we don't know what's accurate and what's not. But anyways, the lack of Forge will likely have this domino effect of limiting custom games and matchmaking. It'll be a throwback to days of Halo CE and 2, basically. Now, this is certainly going to be quite disappointing for fans who enjoy social matchmaking, custom games, or forgers in general. And plus, the 6-month timeline is just an estimate right now, not a hard release date, meaning if issues come up, it could take longer. it could also get finished a lot quicker if things go better than expected. So, you know, we don't really know what's going to happen at this point. Not definitely. Now, the other missing feature, co-op campaign, has been such a basic expected feature since Halo 1, since the very beginning. There's never been a main Halo game that launched without co-op until Halo Infinite, which will be launching without any kind of campaign co-op whatsoever. I see a lot of comparisons to Halo 5's launch, which is accurate for Forge, aside from the fact that this time it would take even longer to get Forge. But really for co-op, it's not like Halo 5 where split screen was removed, leaving only online co-op. No, this time there won't be any co-op at all whatsoever for Halo Infinite. No online co-op, no split screen co-op, nothing at all for at least the first 3 months after launch, assuming everything else goes smoothly. This is again another big disappointment for fans, especially the ones that love playing campaign with friends or family, or doing challenges together, doing achievements together, and so on. But now everyone is going to have to wait. I guess it's not as long of a wait as with Forge, but again, this isn't like something superficial. Like, this is not a superficial minor detail that people are nitpicking on. This has been a core feature of the Halo series from the very beginning, and now it won't be there at launch for the first time ever. Now, I know a lot of people out there have been very dismissive of co-op and Forge, saying that just because they don't use it, everyone else shouldn't care about it, and those who do care about co-op, Forge, and by extension custom games and social matchmaking, are in the extreme minority of Halo players. I'm sure this merits to both sides of the conversation. To me personally, I'm actually quite surprised that so many people are quick to dismiss these core features like co-op and Forge and social matchmaking and custom games, because they've been in Halo for a long time as core features, and now people are saying like they're not important, nobody uses them. I'm even more surprised that there's now this mindset that it's okay to ship games unfinished and just fix it down the road just because it's a live service game. Maybe that's just how games are going to be in the future, and it's time to start getting used to it. It really makes me wonder if MCC, Anthem, Fallout 76, and Cyberpunk, if they launched today in exactly the same state that they did back when they actually launched, would people be okay with that now and excited about those games, knowing that the devs will fix those games eventually in the future? I don't know. I'm genuinely curious what all your thoughts are on that. Am I just out of date with gaming trends like this? And is this live service model for releasing unfinished games more acceptable now? Or do people still believe it's better for games to release in a finished, complete state with all its intended and promised features? Let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. I'm very curious. So, a year ago, before Halo Infinite was delayed the first time around, I originally said that I didn't think Halo Infinite needed to be delayed if 343 could launch the game in a complete finished state without going through a major crunch. But, it did get delayed. And now, even after an extra year of development time, the game still won't be shipping in a full, complete state. Honestly, I can't imagine what Halo Infinite would have been like if it still actually launched on time last year. It's just unimaginable. Now, it's totally understandable why the studio might not have been able to finish all these features in time. Things have been kind of rough the past year, obviously, and 343 isn't the only studio that's had to delay games. And obviously, it's not that the devs wanted to ship the game with a lot of missing features. It's not the devs that make the calls of whether to delay something or not. And it's also not their call what kind of time frame they have to finish certain things. That's all up to management and probably the publisher, Microsoft, as well, in this case. So, here's my controversial opinion you've all been waiting for. If Halo Infinite did get delayed, I say if, I totally wouldn't mind. In fact, if the devs needed more time to finish the game and polish it up, then I'd support giving them more time. They should have as much time as they need. And, the resulting game would be better for everybody else as well. But on the other hand, I'll live if the game still launches on time without those features. I'm sure the campaign will still be enjoyable, and I may play some of the multiplayer a little bit, whatever's available. But overall, I just feel games really need to stop being shipped incomplete and then getting fixed or finished over time as quote-unquote free DLC or free seasonal content. I know fans are itching to finally play Halo Infinite after all these years of waiting, but given what happened to Cyberpunk 2077, for example, I think it'll be more understandable now if 343 needs more time. Of course, that probably isn't going to happen though, because Joe Staten and Sketch confirmed that they're committed to releasing this holiday, despite no release date being given yet. Joe Staten did say that they did consider delaying again, but they figured the game has been in development long enough, and since Halo Infinite is supposed to be a live service game, they'll just push out the rest of the game, the rest of the core content as updates later on down the road. I know, to a lot of people, this is all very disappointing news, while to others, they're totally unfazed by it. I think the best we can all hope for now is a solid, amazing campaign with little to no bugs. Same with multiplayer, whatever will be available on that. If the game is solid and bug-free at launch with an amazing campaign, I think a lot of fans can live with that and perhaps overlook the missing features after a while. But if it's a very broken and buggy launch like MCC again, and it has a lot of its core features missing, then I don't know, that's not going to be very good, to say the least. Anyways, those are all my thoughts on the recent bad news of CoOp and Forge not being in Halo Infinite at launch. It's certainly very disappointing news, and while it may not be the end of the world, it's certainly very unfortunate still. Anyways, thanks for listening to my opinions on this. Hopefully they weren't too controversial. I'm definitely curious to see what you all are thinking about this recent news. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, found it to be interesting and informative. As always, if you did, then make sure to leave a like. And like I said, make sure to leave your thoughts on this topic in the comments down below. And aside from that, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. But yeah, I'll see you all next time. Bye guys.